All right.
Hey, what's up?
Hey! Thanks for joining us, guys. As you notice, I'm back. I know that I missed the past, was it 2? I think 2. Maybe 1.
Just one.
Just 1, okay.
Yeah, one show.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris told you, I had a kid, so I had to miss the show, because that's what you do. And but now I'm back. So I'm very excited. We got a great show for you tonight, a real sizzler. And we have a special interview with Lasse Bauer. I pronounced that right?
Yeah, Lasse Bauer. So this show is going to be all about breakups, and we're going to be going over. We're going to be getting guys to submit questions on breakups. So if you have a question, if you're getting dumped, if you'd like to dump your girlfriend and you just want to know a really heartless way to do it, message us and we'll.
You know what?
I'm just kidding. We're not going to give you heartless things.
Well, if you actually want to break up with your girlfriend, give us a call. We can do this for you. Give us a call in. You can say, hey, Cajun, Chris, I really am not in a good relationship. Can you guys break up with my girlfriend for me? We can do this.
Do we really want to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we can do is we can pretend to be you, and we can call up, and we can break up with your girlfriend for you. And that's called responsibility. And that's the name. That's the word of the day for today's show.
That's the
Take responsibility.
This is the advantages of tuning in live. So somebody's got to come in. Somebody's got to add, get in touch with us via the chat.
It'll be a good breakup. Like, I'm not gonna mess this up. She's gonna feel good about it.
Are you good at that stuff?
Yeah, it's gonna be clean. It's gonna be like no baggage. It's not gonna be drawn out. Just it'll be good. Believe me.
All right, awesome. We also have an interview on breakups. On the more positive side of things, we've got an interview on breakups with Lasse Bauer. He's the breakup expert basically with love systems. He's written a book called The Breakup Survival Guide for Men. It's really, really good. And we've got an interview with him. It's pre-recorded, but we're just going to we're going to broadcast that for you. And in that interview, we're going to be going over what are the warning signs of a breakup, how do you avoid a breakup if you think you're getting dumped, can you get your ex back, and how do you do it if you're going to do that? And then also we're going to answer the question of how do you get over a breakup and deal with all these things. So it's a ton of stuff. Plus we're going to be taking your questions and answering questions live. Maybe even helping somebody break up.
I look at Lasse. He's a really cool guy. I look at Lasse, just like a really, really handsome European older guy. Like, that guy probably knows what he's talking about. He's probably lived an interesting life. He's probably gone through a lot of breakups. Not to project too much on him. He's one of those guys when I talk to him and I listen to him talk, I'm like, I trust you. I know what you're talking about. And I already know what I'm talking about a little bit. I'm not as old as Lasse, but Lasse.
It's not Lassie like the dog. Yeah. It's Lasse with the short E that's almost like the dog, but not exactly. Yeah.
But I read his book and it was eye-opening even for me. So I'm excited.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great interview. So we did have one question right off the bat. We're gonna go into, because some people sent in some questions before the show, so we'll answer our first question.
All right.
So we had a guy. He said it was from the Reddit forums, and he asked, what do you do when you have broken up with your ex and you've been invited to a party together and you've got to show up? Like, how do you handle that? How do you look classy? How do you deal with it emotionally?
Yeah, I would say so I'm thinking the situation here is that there's a lot of mutual friends, and there's
often the case, right?
Yeah, a shared social group. So don't be a victim. Don't be the guy that's like, oh, I've been broken up with. I'm gonna be pouting in the corner in my cave and avoid all contact and stuff. No, fuck that. Go to the party. And if you're take the high road too, like if she's there, don't ignore her or whatever. I mean, don't go out of your way to be like, hey, I'm not affected by this at all, and talk to her and shit. But I mean, if she's there, be polite to her. And here's a good thing though, because if you act like it didn't affect you emotionally as much as she's probably anticipating, which I guarantee you she probably is, she's gonna look to see oh, is he hurt? Did I hurt him? Because, I mean, women aren't inherently mean like that, but there is a certain part, I think, that even as guys, I think we're probably, the same way in a little bit. She's maybe looking for that. But if you act like, you know what, I'm going to have fun, I'm going to, hang with my boys, I'm going to socialize, I'm not going to ignore her, I'm going to talk to her, I'm going to talk to the girl she's with. And if you can put on this face, it's like, look, I'm perfectly okay with this. I'm totally relaxed and comfortable in this environment, in this situation. man, not only will it make you feel good, but she might look at that and be like, maybe I shouldn't have broken up.
I mean, that's definitely the mature,
yeah,
the mature way to do it, and it is the person who like has the most emotional maturity who winds up looking the best in those situations.
Yes.
The only thing I would say is if you're in a situation where, let's say you're not over your ex and actually running into her would probably be really painful, but you need to go to this event. What I would do is I would definitely like have an out where if you see your ex and you're like, oh, you just want to go to the bathroom and cry or something like that, just be like, oh yeah, I've got that dentist appointment at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, so I've got to go. But prepare yourself with an out if you can't handle it emotionally, rather than, so you avoid that situation. If you feel like you're going to turn into a wuss or break down, make sure you got an out.
This has happened to me. I was much younger. I wasn't nearly as emotionally mature as I am now. And it happened to me, but even then, I remember this feeling, because and I still do this to this day, and I recommend when this happens to you. Here's the thing. Life is a roller coaster of emotional events. And if you can't recognize when you're in one of those low moments and sort of be aware of it, be self-aware. You're at a party and your ex is there and it hurts really bad and you feel like man, I can't take this. You should recognize that emotion that's happening and appreciate that and almost find the humor in it. And I remember this happened to me when I was in university, and I kind of found myself laughing at how, I guess, the emotional complexity of the moment. And it was sort of like, man, I feel really bad. And then I laughed because it's like, man, I'm only like, 20 years old, I guess, at the time, and this is affecting me this much. This is almost kind of hilarious because this is what life is. Life is going to be a lot of these events. So I kind of laughed at it in the moment and sort of found myself enjoying almost the low moment for what it was, which I think in a lot of ways is just what it feels like to be alive. So for me, I would say do it. And although I think it's helpful, like Chris said, to have an excuse, if you are one of those people that just can't control your emotions and you have a hard time sort of being, looking at yourself in the third person, analyzing it and stuff in the moment, then definitely, if that's going to save you an embarrassing moment of breaking down in front of your social group, then certainly do that. But if you have the strength to do it and the courage, I think it's worth doing, because I think you can learn a lot about yourself and mature yourself and grow from those moments to understand yourself better. So, yeah, cool. Not to be too sappy, but that's what I would do.
Well, that's a good answer, man. So we got some more answers. We're gonna have Lasse Bauer in just a second, and then with Lasse Bauer, we're gonna be talking about just going through it in order. How do you? What are the signs of a breakup coming? How do you avoid a breakup if you see it coming? How do you get your ex back if you can, or find out whether you can? And then how do you get over your ex and wind up better? So we're going to put Lasse on right now. Let's just get ready. And hey, this is Chris Shepard, and I'm here with Lasse Bauer. He's a breakups expert with Love Systems, and I'm really glad to have you on the show. Lasse, thank you so much for coming out. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, hey, my name is Lasse Bauer, and hey, Chris, nice to be here as well. Well, introducing myself, you call me a breakup expert, which is kind of like, I don't know if that's a good thing to be an expert in breakups, but well, I guess I am. I've had a combination of a long professional career working in communications for longer than I care to mention. And then I've been working professionally with leaders, middle and upper management for like 15 years almost, training them in personal power and influence. And then I've written a book about breakups, and it's not something I thought I would ever write, but unfortunately I have, which is the second part of my experience, my own personal experiences of fucking up relationships and not doing things the right way. So I've had some really interesting, not very nice, but a lot of learning points coming from those experiences. And so I've simply learned to combine what I know as a professional and the less than amazing experiences I've had as a private person and the things I've fucked up in my life. And as one of my friends said, that I've learned to make lemonade out of lemons. So I guess that's the headline of this.
That's awesome. I mean, breakups are such like I mean, everybody goes through them pretty much, and they can be such a traumatic thing. You know, the guys get so ruined over them. I mean, I've had that experience in my past. Thankfully, not so much recently, but you know, I've seen my friends go through it, and there's just so much. I mean, some guys they spend like years getting over these experiences. I mean, is part of the reason why you're good at this is you've been through a bad breakup? I mean, I don't know if we want to go into that, but
Sure. I think that you're absolutely right. I think some people seem to just move past it very quickly, and maybe it's because the relationship wasn't that serious to begin with, and for other people it's simply a matter of not thinking about it. There are some people that are excellent at just compartmentalizing things and just putting it away and then moving on in life.
mm-hmm.
And others just procrastinate and sit there and think about it years on end, which is absolutely true. But for me, it was a matter of, actually, as a professional, I thought I was pretty cool and knew what to do, and it had to do with personal power, and I was teaching other people about it, and you know, I got this shit. I know exactly what's going on. And the same with women. And then I came into a relationship where I completely lost myself. I forgot about my own needs and wants and what was working for me and not working for me. So eventually it bit me in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up having a breakup that was absolutely life-changing for me. I mean, I've lost my dad, I've lost my sister, I've lost my favorite dog, and if you're a dog person, you know what that can mean. But this was like nothing compared to the breakup. So I eventually, once I moved past it, I found out that the breakup had very little to do with her, my ex,
mm-hmm.
and everything to do with the life choices that I made up until the point the breakup came.
Yeah.
So I've always said that nobody wakes up Thursday morning and go, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to change my life.
Yeah.
We all need some kind of motivation. And usually, unfortunately, it's usually negative motivation. And so I was going through life just thinking, hey, everything is fine. And the problems I have, I would sweep them under the rug. And then all of a sudden, the bump under the rock or in the rock became so big that I stumbled across it, and I had to deal with it. And I think for a lot of people, that's the issue. The issue is that we sweep it under the rock and we think we're doing fine. And at some point it catches up with us, and then we have to deal with it and do something about it.
So is there a way that you can, let's say you're in a relationship, is there a way that you can see this coming? Are there like warning signals that guys should watch out for about these kinds of things?
There are warning signals. The big problem is that often it takes a long time for you to realize what happened, which means that in past tense you can go back and sift through the debris and find out, oh, that's what I should have been looking for. But there are absolutely always signs of an imminent breakup. And the trick, of course, is to learn to watch and look for the signs. So there's a main headline here which is super important. Most men, not all, but most men, when we break up, we tend to have this idea that we get pissed off about something and now we just want to get out. So it's often a spontaneous thing where everything explodes and then we go, fuck you, and then we move away from the relationship, and 3 days later or a week later we start thinking about maybe this was wrong, maybe we should talk about getting together and finding out what's wrong and all that. Women often, not always, but often work in a different way. They have a tendency of talking to their friends, thinking about it for a long, long time. And once they make their decision about moving on, it's done. It is done. It is over. And that's why a lot of men get blindsided by that. They tend to believe that, hey, wait a minute, so you're now having a relationship with somebody else, or you want to move out? Hey, stop, hold it. We can talk about this. And for her, it's often too late.
Yeah. So
you asked about the signals and what to look for. There are the classic ones, which are, of course, a change in behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Might be new rhythms of the day, or suddenly taking up yoga classes, or paying more attention to the way she looks. A lot of mood swings all of a sudden. critiquing you, thinking that you're an idiot, or critiquing little details. Could also be suddenly starting to invite new people into her life that you've never heard about before. So any kind of strange, different behavior from what you're used to can be a red lamp that you have to look at.
Yeah. But that can also be normal too, you know? I mean, when do you know when it's like a positive kind of like, okay, she's taking up yoga, which is great. And when do you go, okay, whoa, she's getting really into this yoga, like what's going on in a relationship? I mean, I guess at an underlying level, it has to do with a lack of, you know, if your relationship is going really badly and all these other things are happening.
It is unfortunately, it's like if she takes up yoga, you're fucked. That would be very interesting. So of course not. But the problem is this. Most guys who've been in a relationship have a tendency of becoming what we in Denmark call wife deaf, which means that when a lot of women tend to talk more than men do, and especially about emotions. So she's talking to you about what her friends are doing and what her sister is saying and blah, blah, blah. We tend to zone out and kind of like, yeah, whatever. But sometimes we simply do not listen to her when she's saying, I think there's something that's not working in our relationship. So we can have this problem, and we tend to put it in the same category as chatter and irrelevant talk. And that can be to our detriment, that we simply forget to listen to what she's saying. And if you're talking to one of your good friends, a guy friend, and something is wrong, you can, not always, but often a guy to guy situation, he will tell you, you know what, I think you're an asshole. Why did you do this, that, and back then? And you will have to talk about it, and it's usually done. With a lot of relationships, especially when you're in a relationship with a very feminine woman, she will not say it that clearly. She will give hints. She will say it once or twice, maybe, and maybe she won't make a big deal out of it. So the problem is that if you want to stay in this relationship, you need to learn to listen.
And well, it's not just like, because, you know, I think a lot of guys get told to listen, and it is kind of good advice, but it's also like, yeah, I get told that all the time. Like, I'm listening. How much more listening do I need to do? Because the thing is, it's not listening as in just being there while she speaks and taking in the information, but it's listening to the subtext, I think.
Yes.
It's listening to, because she's not often saying exactly what is going on deep down. I mean, a lot of times you're not even aware. Like, she's not aware, you're not aware of the motivations that you're actually bringing to an interaction. So, you know, she says she's feeling this vague sense of unease or things aren't quite right. It comes out as, why is our apartment messy? Or, you know, you leave your shoes in the hall, or stuff that's very, very trivial. But it turns out that the subtext behind these things is actually a deeper, like, hey, I'm losing respect for you. I'm losing my trust for you. I feel like there's not enough desire between the two of us, which I think are the three. I have, you know, power, desire, and trust as the three big attraction switches that sort of you need when you're first meeting women, and also need it in dating, like when you keep them. And if those things are starting to fail, that's when all of a sudden all of a sudden these other signs start to become relevant, I guess. Exactly.
I mean, and you're absolutely right. I mean, I think you're spot on that you need to separate what's chatter and what's absolutely relevant. And if you mentioned three big things, and if she starts talking about these things or becomes increasingly annoyed with you and what you're doing and your life choices, that's when you need to start listening if you're interested in staying in the relationship. And I think that's one sign or a couple of signs that men generally oversee or have a tendency of ignoring even.
Okay. So I have another question, follow-up question. What are the biggest mistakes men make in breakups? What are the things that the guys do that are just like a big problem?
Well, the biggest overall problem that most guys do when they are in a breakup is that, remember one thing, a breakup and having a heartache is all about loss of power. That's really what it is. It's because somebody takes away the choice of you being in a relationship. You don't any longer have this choice of being in a relationship. Somebody else took away that choice for you. So she doesn't want you anymore, and there's very little you can do to change her mind. Mm-hmm. And that's where heartbreak comes from. If you've ever experienced
you lose control over your life when you break up, because your life becomes this relationship. You've got your property and all this, your dog and all these things become common property, and then when you break up, you lose control over not just control over your partner, which isn't necessarily what you want to have, but it becomes control over yourself in your own life, because you have this plan and now it's gone. That's interesting. I never saw it as a control thing, and specifically even a control thing about over yourself.
Yes, exactly. Well, one thing is the word control, but it's more like you also lose the power and the ability to choose, because the one choice has been taken away. The choice that is whether you want to stay in a relationship or not is gone. Mm-hmm. So it just took that choice for you, made that choice for you. And so the reason why I mention this is because everything that people do after a breakup is based on getting your power back. And I want my power, and I want it back right now. Not in a minute, not in an hour, not in a month, right now. So we start to do things that are absolutely counterproductive very often. Mm-hmm. And I often make a comparison between the reaction pattern you have when a breakup happens and the reaction pattern of an amateur diver. Because if you're like on 150 feet down, and all of a sudden some part of your scuba gear is not working, then most people who are amateurs will start just acting out of panic. Mm-hmm. And that's the last thing you want to do. And if you learn the techniques, and if you're a professional or experienced diver, you do the opposite. You stop, you think, and then you act. Mm-hmm. So that's the exact same thing I suggest to people when they are in a breakup. You need to stop before you act. And most people feel like, I can't stop. I need to get my power back. I need to call her. I need to go over there. I need to stop her. I need to beat up her new boyfriend, or whatever it is.
Or you even need to guys want to leave on their own terms, right? So you're getting dumped. It's like, no, I don't want to get dumped. I want to dump you. I want to make you mad at me, because I want to deliberately make you mad at me, so that you're breaking up with me because I'm deliberately pissing you off, not because that choice is being taken away from me. That's an interesting way to put it, because
it's like this. I don't know what it's called in Canada, USA. This musical game of you have one chair and two people, and
musical chairs. Yeah,
exactly. When the music stops, there's one chair too few. And that's kind of what's going on in a breakup, because you do not want to be the person without a chair. So you need to have that power, you need to have that leverage. And so some people go to extremes to get it, whether it's revenge, whether it's acting out, whether it's going the opposite direction, which is, of course, depression and stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of really counterproductive actions that you start doing because you lose your power. So that's the headline for everything that has to do with how you act after a breakup.
So one of the things that I always teach to guys when I'm talking about confidence and masculinity is that the secret to being sort of a powerful man is focusing on having power over yourself, focusing on having power over the things that you can control, and not trying to have power over the things that you can't control, such as other people, such as your ex or your girlfriend. And is really the secret to surviving a breakup and through handling a breakup well, is that about focusing on controlling yourself and not the other person?
Absolutely, I absolutely 100% agree, and it goes for everything in life. The people who usually are the happiest are people who focus exactly on what you're saying. Is they understand that I can't control other people. It's impossible. I can take a gun and put it to your head and say, you need to do what I'm telling you. But you always have a choice of saying, go ahead, pull the trigger. So ultimately, you don't have any control or power over other people. You can influence them and inspire them and motivate them, but ultimately, you don't have any power over them. Mm-hmm. And we all know how hard it can be to change something about ourselves, whether it's stop smoking or getting up earlier or working hard or whatever. So, and that takes a lot of effort. So trying to change other people is completely impossible. So, and another interesting thing about power is, I always say that you cannot have power without taking responsibility. It is absolutely virtually impossible. So the hardest thing for most people when they go through a breakup is understanding that even though you feel like your ex is the psycho bitch it's her fault, all of it. I mean, 99% her fault. I mean, I may have thrown my clothes on the floor once back in January, but the rest is her. And the moment you start thinking that way, one thing is it's completely wrong. And let's just forget the moral aspect of it. You're cheating yourself, and you're cheating yourself big time by thinking like this. Because as a minimum, you have 50% of the responsibility of the relationship going in a good way, and also the relationship getting fucked. So the more responsibility you take, and this goes for everything in life, but particularly for breakups, the more responsibility you assume, the more power you have. Because if you say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna take this, I own this. The more you take, the more you can control. If you say to yourself, for instance, oh, it's my ex's fault that I feel this way. Well, hallelujah, then you need to sit and wait for your ex to make your life better. Good luck with that. That's a train that never comes.
Yeah.
So the more responsibility you can take, the better, and the more power you will have over your life. Wow. And it does not mean, and this is an important point, it does not mean that you are supposed to take responsibility for any of her shit at all. So if she, for instance, sleeps with another guy and that's why the breakup comes along, whatever, you shouldn't start taking responsibility for her actions. Those are hers and hers alone. You should take responsibility for whatever happened that made the relationship the way it is, or why the hell you chose a girlfriend that was a skank to begin with, if that's the, so you always have some kind of responsibility, and the sooner you learn to identify it and take and assume responsibility, the more and the faster you get your power back.
That's very motivating stuff. That's great. So, okay, I've got some questions from guys who've submitted it to the show, and I said I was going to bring them to you. And basically, the most common question, and I got this a bunch of times, is basically a couple of different variations of how do I get my ex back? All right, yeah. Can you do it? Is there a formula? And if, as I suspect there is not, what can you do to, let's say, maximize your odds in that respect?
Okay, the answer is yes, it can be done. I will say this, it cannot be done in every single case, period. And I've seen these books online and shows that tells you that you can always get your ex back with these 5 simple steps, which is complete bullshit. And the first thing is, you need to understand that sometimes you cannot because the person you're with is not interested in it. The second thing is you need to ask yourself before even trying to get her back, why do you want her back? Is it simply because you're hurting so much right now that you need her back to alleviate the pain? Or is it because it's actually a relationship worth building on? Those are 2 completely different things. So you need to ask yourself that question to begin with. And now, if there is a chance for you to get back together, this is just like fixing a car that breaks down. If you don't understand what happened to the car and why it broke down and why it doesn't work anymore, if you don't do that piece of work, you have no chance of fixing it and you have no chance of getting it back on the road. So it's the exact same thing when it comes to a breakup. Usually there were some flags that you didn't see, some signals, some dangers that you simply overlooked, and you need to identify them and you need to understand them in order for you to fix it. And that can take some time to do. So the answer is yes, it can be done. And like I said, to repeat it, part 2, you need to ask yourself, should you actually get her back or try to get her back? And number 3, if you want to do it, you need to stop and identify what went wrong in order for you to fix it.
Interesting stuff. I mean, I think that's absolutely true, and it does help to understand a little bit the dynamics of relationship and the psychology behind it, so that you know what is broken. Because a lot of guys don't know what working well, let's say, even looks like in the first place, or what's creating attraction and keeping the woman that you're dating interested in the relationship. But
yeah,
all right.
and another very important thing is I think I've always thought it was interesting that when it comes to breakups or being in a relationship, many people have this idea that it's something you should be able to do naturally, like as if you were born and you came out of your mom and the midwife says, oh, this is one of these guys who are good at relationships. I mean, that's not how it works. And just as you don't naturally are a good skier, if you want to ski, you need to learn it. And if you start skiing and you break both your legs, then you need to start asking yourself, what kind of mistakes did I do to break both my legs, before going out the next year and breaking your legs again? So you would be a retard if you didn't do that. Now, if you go to a relationship, for some reason, it's widely accepted that you should just go out and repeat your mistakes.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys do that.
So now you wrote a whole book on breakups and breakup survival. What was the motivation for it? What were you trying to do? How are you trying to influence the world when you were doing this?
Well, I honestly wasn't trying to influence anyone except myself. I was in a really, really, really bad spot in my life, where I felt I lost my then girlfriend and my life, and lost focus on my finances, my job, my friendships, everything like that. And my focus was her, and I wanted to please her. And when it ended, like I said before, I was completely desperate to get my power back. Just to get her back, because if I got her back, my life would be perfect again, which was, of course, complete bullshit. So I didn't set out to write a book. I started out going online to find different fora online to find somebody who could help me. And the overall headline was, help me get my ex back. Then I started learning from other people who've been through the same thing, that maybe that's not what I need to do. Maybe I need to look at myself and start changing me, start changing what happened to cause the breakup and to cause me being in a relationship with this woman to begin with. And then I started helping other people. And then I started seeing a pattern, no matter if you lived in Canada or Denmark or Mexico or Greenland, that it was universal. It was like, it's the same fixes that you can do, the same actions you can take to heal yourself and put yourself in a much better position as a man, and also as a future partner for your ex or another woman. So eventually I ended up having so many notes and so many things I was writing online, that one of my friends said, why don't you turn this into a book? And I was like, I didn't really plan on doing a breakup book at all. So I thought it was a pretty good idea. And I ended up spending a lot of time writing it and researching a lot of stuff about psychology and my own faults and all of this. And so that's why I wrote it. And quite selfishly, I absolutely love when I can tell people something that makes a small or a big change in their lives. And that's why I do what I do today, because that's the payoff for me.
All right, so imagine there's a guy here watching this broadcast, and he is going through a breakup right now. He's right at rock bottom. What advice would you give to him, or what would you say to him to make him feel like confident about the future? And what kind of outcome can he hope to get from working on himself and pushing through this breakup?
Well, two things. The first thing you need to understand, when you are a person who has just been hit by a breakup or experiencing a breakup, the last thing you want to hear is that in 5 years from now, you'll be great, or 2 years from now, you'll grow as a person, because that's not what you want right now. What you want right now is to get her back, stop this pain, getting back to my normal rhythm in life and all of this. So there are two things to it. And if you are a person right now who's suffering from a breakup, I can promise you one thing, is that you will get tools, very, very practical tools, to move on, get away from the drama, get some perspective, and it kind of like paint by numbers instructions on what to do right now for you to feel better very, very quickly. So that's kind of like the immediate fix, if you will.
Okay.
And there's the second part, which is much bigger, but most people who are in a breakup cannot see this right now. But this is the much bigger perspective, is that you get a bonus out of doing all this work. You get more focus on yourself. You get insight into yourself. You grow as a person, as it's called, but you actually get to know yourself as a man and find out what you want in life, what you don't want in life, how to take responsibility, how to get your power back, and move ahead and forward in your life. Not just with your ex or without your ex, but in all aspects of life. So it is the second part, which follows you working with yourself, is the big bonus. But that's not why most people start working with themselves when it comes to breakups.
Yeah, that's Lasse. That's very inspirational. And I've read your book, and we've got one of the guys actually who works with us is he found the love systems by buying your book and really swears by it. So if you guys are interested, Lasse is the author of the Breakup Survival Guide for Men. It's really highly reviewed. It's probably the best thing on the market for breakups right now. And thank you so much, Lasse, for coming out. Hey, this is Chris Shepard, and I'm here with Lasse Bauer. All right, guys. Thanks so much for that was Lasse Bauer. It just called right in right there. That was totally not recorded at all.
Just I left. We turned the camera to focus in on Chris.
Right.
That's what you guys saw.
Smooth production quality there,
really,
fellas. Only the best from us.
Really good stuff. Let's open this up. Me and Chris are gonna continue the show now, but I mean, right now we'd like to open this up with the chat. If you guys have any questions or anything, comments you'd like to talk about, I guess not only for what the interview just talked about, but also just breakups in general and relationships in general, I suppose. We're gonna keep our eye on the chat to make sure that we can answer those for you guys. In fact, I haven't looked in a little while. There might be a lot of questions already that I haven't even looked at.
We do have one question from Reddit from earlier, and that question was, what do you do on social media when you have just been dumped, and how do you handle that? Do you block? Do you block her? Do you post lots of really rude images to her Facebook profile?
Yeah. Well, you just dive really deep into the dank memes, and that's. To be honest, I would say on social media, on Facebook and whatnot, I don't know. It's hard for me to answer because I think and Chris is as well. We're both old as shit. Social media to us is something that's like part of our life, but it's not our life. And I know that with the younger generation, it kind of is your life. And so there's an almost like a requirement that you need to sort of maybe post about something or that it's like the what do you call it, the grapevine for social goings ons, where
I don't think anybody
even gets
will
that
get
reference.
this. Yes, the grapevine.
But the thing is that so for me, if you ask me that question because of this, I would say, man, like fuck social media. Just sort of ignore it for a little bit, or just post funny shit or interesting stuff and comment on your friends. You don't need to really get involved with the negative. And I guess that's my takeaway from this, is that don't involve yourself with the negative stuff. If you get broken up with, all right, it happens. And so just understand that, okay, this is a negative thing, but you don't need to focus on the negative. You can start focusing on the positive. As far as I can tell, everything that happens to you in your life is a great opportunity for growth. And so you got broken up with and that really sucks, but try to see the silver lining in that. Maybe you're not supposed to be with that person. Maybe it's a great blessing in disguise. So treat it like that. Look at it like that, because the very act of looking at it like that makes it true in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Perception is reality. So I think that if you're getting involve yourself with social media, focus on the positive. You're going to look at social media, focus on your friends' funny posts and comment on those, and post your own funny things, so that if she looks at your Facebook profile, it's not like stupid song lyrics that describe your emotional state, where that you think are so sort of hidden and obtuse, but really are just completely blatant. Instead, focus on the positive. Make it so that if she looks at it, she's going to be like, oh, does this not even affect him?
All right.
That should be her takeaway.
my advice with the social media thing is, if your connections on social media are messing you up, if you're spending too much time like going through her profile or something like that, then by all means block her to help you move on. Mm-hmm. However, all embarrassing breakup moments come from a desire to control the other person and what the other person is feeling. All right, it's either to get them back when they don't want you back, or to piss them off when they don't care, or to get some kind of reaction out of the other person. So the secret to, one, coming across strong and coming across like a strong man who might actually be able to get that person back in the future. Two, not embarrassing yourself in front of your friends and the friends of your friends and her and everybody else and the entire world, is to let go of that desire. So if it's for you, by all means block her out. If it's for her, if it's to piss her off, it's to hurt her, don't bother. Don't do that. And generally speaking, social media, never do stuff to try and get a reaction out of your partner. That's that's where every guy makes those mistakes. We do have, so that was a question that came in from Reddit. We got another guy.
I want to finish that by saying, what is that quote? The best revenge is a life well lived, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and the idea is that the best thing you can do if you're thinking like, man, fuck that bitch. Let's say she's on the broke up with you. The best revenge you can have is to not let it affect you, to just carry on your life as if it didn't happen and be positive. And if she sees that, that's the best reaction you can hope for.
Is there any amount of coldness that is too cold? If you're just like, let's say you break up,
yeah,
and then like the next day you're like, here's me jet skiing in Miami.
Yeah, I think that
bottle of vodka.
That's too transparent. I would say that's like, if you look at that from her perspective, she's saying, oh yeah, he's hurting. Not that you should make every decision as a way to sort of have her not have that reaction. It shouldn't be about even her. It should be about you. But I think that the best thing you could do is sort of accept that it happened, not dwell on it, and just be like, yeah, fuck it. This shit happens. I'm going to continue on my life. I know that's easy to say for someone who's not in that moment, and I apologize, maybe some of you that are watching that are like, man, fuck you. You don't know what this is like right now. You're right, I don't. But I've been there. And yeah, although that it's a hard pill to swallow, sometimes you just sort of got to accept, like, this is a shitty time in my life, and I can dwell on that, or I can start focusing my attention on something else. As difficult as it's going to be, man, involve yourself in something else. All those things that you do in your spare time to take your mind off that, do those. Whatever, it doesn't matter what it is. Play video games, go to your improv classes. Masturbation. You guys have it lucky. When I was a teenager, I had to go to the Sears catalog. That was what you got to do. And now you guys have the internet. You can go to Sears.com and go to the lingerie section. You don't even have to go to the catalog anymore.
No, you can go to Sears.com and you can order the Sears catalog.
Order the Sears catalog.
To a post office box so
Amazon
your mom doesn't check it.
1 day shipping.
There you go.
You're set.
So lucky.
So you guys are really lucky. That
you millennials. All right, so we got a comment here from Reddit, and it's a guy who's got a bunch of numbers in his name. He says, hey, you guys are excellent. Thank you. This is obviously a very intelligent person that's writing in. You guys are excellent. Sucks the community has died down. The guys who get good end up leaving, and the guys who suck end up quitting.
Perception is reality.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? This stuff, there's still a big community. There's a lot of guys out there. I don't need any breakup advice, but I wanted to ask you guys what it's like being in the community for so long. Mainly, I wanted to know if you've gotten any weird, cool career opportunities through game. When I started sarging nonstop in New York City, I ended up getting access to some really exclusive social circles. I always wondered if I should have tried to use the connections to build a career since I was a young man at the time. Also, social engineering geared towards corporate security is huge right now. I'm surprised more PUA guys haven't gotten into that, and I'm starting to research how reasonable it would be for me to start on the path. Are you guys familiar with that side of social engineering? Random questions, but I figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
We have one instructor who I believe is involved in that kind of thing, but we can't actually.
You can't talk about that. But that's like merch shit, right? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about like hacking, like
Oh,
engineering
hacking.
to get
Oh,
those
yeah.
passwords.
I thought about mercenary stuff. All right,
No.
never mind.
Not the mercenary, the hacker.
Although we got that too.
Yeah.
No, the hacking stuff. There's been a few.
We get all kinds of awesome career opportunities. We meet all kinds of really, really
So, wait.
interesting people.
Before we get into that, just want to address a few things. One, community. Two, PUA. So I never liked that stuff. I never liked the whole label thing. I never liked thinking this was some sort of like underground, like, yo, dude, do you know about this stuff? Come here for a second. You know, take the red pill and understand this shit. Like, to be honest, all I've ever taught, and I think Chris is of the same belief as this, all I've ever taught since day one, and if you go back, because I got interviews online and writings and stuff that go back to like 2005 and 6, all I've ever talked about is not secret things you can do and tactics and things like that. It's always been general advice that's about confidence and that's about being a better guy. And I don't really subscribe to this idea, and no offense to this guy, because I don't think he meant this in a negative way. But the only reason I bring this up is because now the whole community and PUA has become a flag for like guys that look at this in a very specific way that is not the way that I look at it. And so I just want to address that before I guess answer this question. And again, I don't mean to think this guy is meaning it that way. But unfortunately, in the nowadays, there is a connotation with PUA in game that we don't necessarily subscribe to. In fact, we never really have. So just want to lay that out there. Now, to answer the question, yeah, totally. I mean, Chris and I have some crazy stories. I was writing a book before me and Chris took over Love Systems and started doing all this sort of stuff. I was writing a book that was basically a collection of all these stories that have happened to me and to a big part Chris as well, since he was there for a lot of them, that directly relate to the sort of experiences that I got to have because of this stuff. And they're insane. They're really insane. Walking past celebrities waiting in line at places in Vegas that I get to walk through because I got a connection there that they don't have, and seeing the look on their face. And this in particular celebrity is a celebrity I've ran into like 5 times that I'm 100% confident knows who I am now. But there's stuff like that, getting box seats at sporting events, hockey games, and things like that. You'd be surprised the extent of how far this stuff has reached, and you don't see as much of it now because for the exact reason I said earlier, that it's become almost like a negative kind of thing in popular culture. So it's hard to sort of put yourself out there in a way that you would be okay with being connected to it. But yeah, we've taught celebrities, not really any A-list celebrities, but certainly some actually probably not even B-list, some C-list for sure, and maybe D-list. And gone to some crazy parties in LA and in Australia, and
I'm going to interrupt you for just a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we got some guys who are on the Google Hangouts, and
They want to call in?
Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that I can get them on the call without any technical difficulties, so that everybody will all be able to hear. So if you're on the Google Hangouts, please speak up, and we're going to try to unmute you. We're going to talk on the side here, and then we'll get you live on camera.
Anyway, to answer the question, yes, there's been a lot of crazy opportunities. Me and Chris have been in this for 10 years, and we've traveled all over the world, met lots of people, been invited to some crazy parties, and have a lot of crazy stories associated with that, which maybe one day I'll finish this book and you guys can read about them. But it's pretty insane. I'm not one to brag too much, so I don't necessarily just jump into these things unless people really specifically ask me about stuff. But we've lived lives that are really only equal to rock stars in a lot of ways, which is exactly why we call Project Rockstar, because you live the life of a rock star. So, which is also something you guys should look into, because the applications for it are drawing to a close pretty soon. So,
that's true.
So
yeah, I mean, there have been a lot of interesting job opportunities and just interesting connections that we've got through this. There's, a huge number of ambitious guys are interested in this kind of thing. Like, basically all ambitious heterosexual men are interested in our field of study.
Hold on.
Who are unmarried.
I'm going to give you guys at least 1, maybe 2 examples of crazy shit. So,
okay.
One, I got offered by a Middle Eastern prince, I guess, some sort of royalty, or some really rich oil baron or something, to they were going to pay me, it was something crazy, like $30,000 or something insane, to go to Saudi Arabia, or it was United Arab Emirates or something, to attend the guy's wedding and try to seduce his wife, because he wanted to make sure that the woman that he was going to marry was pure of heart or whatever and loved him and wouldn't even be seduced by a master pickup artist or whatever.
How did that go?
So I didn't accept it. No, I didn't want to go. Because I thought to myself, I was like, okay, first of all, he said, like, I need to keep it secret. I'm not telling anybody. It'll only be me and you that know. Yeah, great. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to try to seduce his wife, and then his wife's brother or something is going to, like, fucking kill me or something because he's going to see what's going on. And not only that, it just seemed, like, really sketchy. I didn't want to go to, like, the UAE in a place where even sex itself, even kissing in public itself is punishable very severely. So, no, I don't.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you would get executed.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
For that.
So there was no amount of money that would have got me there.
That you were facing the death penalty for that. So
yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing I didn't go.
It's a good thing you didn't go.
Would I have been successful? Absolutely. But that's the point. So that was one.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other one I was going to talk about? Yeah, I mean, we've gotten job opportunities. Oh, there was a very prolific music agent that I almost worked for because he wanted me to infiltrate Hollywood parties to get talent to go over to his music label, which I got to the point where I was ready to take the position, but I ended up not doing it. And that was going to be my job. Infiltrate Hollywood parties, get these up-and-coming musicians to switch labels over to his by means of me seducing them. That was another position that happened because of this. So, yeah, been some pretty crazy stories.
All right, so we have some more questions that have come in via the chat. We've got Ken is asking, what do you do if you're dating somebody at work and then you break up? Do you quit?
There's a reason why they say don't dip your pen in the company ink. That's one of the reasons. Yeah.
That's the polite metaphor.
It's the polite metaphor. So this is one of the, like, we even actually say this too when we have guys that, normally when we get a client, in fact this conversation happened earlier today, when a client comes in and he's saying, oh, you know, I really like this girl at work, our first reaction to that is just stop. Like, there's infinite amounts of other women that you don't work with that are just as good, if not much better, that you don't need to ruin your life at work in order to do this. Because here's the thing. Yeah, you may succeed. Maybe she likes you. Maybe it's your one true love. And if it is, all right, whatever. We can probably help you with that. But if it's not, and most likely it isn't, the realistic situation from this is that you're going to make it very awkward at work. And it's really just not worth it. So unless you think, no, this is 100% the one, just don't even do it. Don't even go there. And honestly, whenever I ask the question to guys that bring this up, I say, okay, how often do you go out and meet people? Is this a girl that you decided you like because you've met hundreds of other women and you've decided that she's the one? Or is it because she's the only girl that pays attention to you in your life and you've decided she's the one? Because if it's that, then she's not the one. And so that's the first question we ask. Because there's a heavy risk with that. Because if you try to make a move, you can really make it awkward, not only for, I guess, her, obviously for yourself, but also everyone around, and even like the sort of the dynamics, depending on how big the office is.
So I think the advice is, 1, don't do it.
Yeah, don't
2, if you do date somebody at work, don't break up with them. You stay together.
You got to stay together.
If you care about your job. And then 3, when you do break up, you got to just...
find a new job.
Well, yeah, you've got to figure. I was just.
You did this?
I did this. Yeah. But I don't think
it was before though, right?
No, it was like a summer job, and so the job ended before.
You didn't date someone at Love Systems, so
no. No, this was working at the Eaton Center. It was working at the Eaton Center over Christmas season.
Eaton Center, biggest mall in Toronto.
Yeah, and there was I was a stock boy.
Okay.
And there's a girl who worked in the front, and she had really big boobs. And we dated, and then Christmas season ended.
Wow.
And then I got fired, and then we broke up. That was basically what happened.
So
I'm sorry, I don't have any good advice.
If she has big boobs, it's okay.
Yeah, and don't. I mean, it was weird when we were working together. But for us, it was like it was all on the down low. We didn't want anybody to know.
So you guys had it was like a secret. It was like a hidden secret.
It was a secret thing which kept it interesting.
That made it interesting.
Yeah, it made it a little bit more fun. It made the work dynamic thing actually a little easier because we didn't have to interact like a couple.
Ever go back in the stock room and fulfill that storyline?
The stock room was really dirty, and there was no.
So yeah.
But yeah, the secret just treat it like a normal thing if you can, and
well, this
basically
is
don't put yourself in that situation.
But if you're 19 and you're working at the Gap, and there's a girl you like, well, yeah, go ahead. Like, who cares?
Get fired.
Yeah. If you're like 28 and you're in a corporate position where you're like, this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life, then yeah, no.
Don't mess up your. Don't mess up your career.
So there's an element to that there's some variance, but for the most part, just don't. There's a reason why that company.
So we have we do have a question here. It's a little bit off topic.
Yeah.
This guy Mike is asking any advice for high school game, by which I think he's in high school, not just going to high school, not a teacher or anything like that.
Let me tell you about high school game, because to be honest,
whatever.
What?
I was trying to make an inappropriate joke, but it was bad, and I'm just glad I didn't really. It just totally fell flat anyway, so it wasn't.
I did pretty good in high school. I don't like toot my own horn here, but I started grade 9 in where I'm from in Canada, on the East Coast. Grade 9 is when high school starts, and it goes to grade 12. 9, 10, 11, 12, 4 years. So when I was in grade 9, I was like I was the class clown up to that point in my junior high, and then grade 9 happens, and they're like, oh, no one knows who I am, and I was really like scared and awkward and stuff. But what I did do is I realized by the time I got to grade 10 that, like, okay, here's the thing. Here's how high school works. Number one, you got to get popular. And unless you're really cool, there's only a couple different ways you can do that if you're not really cool, which I wasn't. One was being funny, which I did have a skill set for. I was always a class clown, so I was like, okay, that's an easy end. Number two is getting involved in public things. So this would be like sports, which I wasn't good at, so I didn't think that was an option. 2 would be drama or theater. 3 would be student council. And those were really the only ones that were cool in my high school. Different high schools are different. Some of them, drama probably isn't cool. Other ones, maybe band is cool. I don't know. But in mine anyway, it was drama, student council, and sports. Sports were a no-go for me, so I went to drama and student council. So I got into the drama in grade 10, just auditions, got involved with that, got involved with improv, which was a new thing at the time, and then I ran for student council and got involved with student council. Now, scary as shit. I do a speech in front of the whole school when I was in grade 10, which a school of 1,500 people, very, very scary when you're an awkward kid that doesn't even know who he is, and you got to stand up in front of the stage with 1,500 people in the audience, most of which are older than you, and talk to them how they should vote for you or whatever. Very, very scary. But that's my advice. My advice is do the stuff that scares you and get involved. Get involved in drama, get involved in student council, get involved in whatever the different extracurricular things that exist in your school where you get to be in a place where people see you. Because after I got involved in drama and I started being in plays, and then I won the student council elections, I was a grade 11 rep, and then I was school spirit, which is basically made skits at the assemblies every time. Everyone knew who I was. I couldn't walk around the school with people being like, that's Derek, the funny guy. And I had girls asking me to the proms and things like that. It was great. And I always talk about this because I didn't have good games, so I didn't end up with any cute girls, the prom or anything. Mostly the ugly girls ask me. I know. It's not a really good payoff. But the truth is that I made a lot of good friends, and it allowed me to sort of deal with my insecurities and my awkwardness. And I know it's not for everyone, but I'm telling you, I'm an introvert. I was super awkward in high school, and I had to deal with that. I still remember having to get up on stage to do my speech when I was running for grade 11 rep when I was in grade 10, and having to listen to CCR in headphones, because for some reason I thought if I listen to CCR, it's going to make me feel good.
CCR is a band from the 70s.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm going to listen to CCR, fucking rock this shit. And then went up, and I don't remember doing my speech, but people laughed and thought it was funny. So, but just get involved. That's high school game. Get involved. You're only going to live through it once, and take some risks and do the shit that scares you. That's what I say. Anyway.
Awesome, man. That's good stuff.
Yep.
All right, we have gone through most of our questions. Everybody, thank you so much for contributing. If you like the show, please upvote it or subscribe or even share this show with if you've got a friend who is going through a breakup and maybe not handling so well, if you think this would be beneficial to them. Another thing, we are looking for, if you're in the Toronto area, we're looking for some people to help us out on the Love Systems Live broadcast. Specifically, somebody who can act as a producer a little bit for us, so that I'm not here on the mouse and keyboard while we're filming the show. So if you are interested in that in any way, you should come, just send us an email at live@lovesystems.com. And we will see you guys next week, next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Someone who's going to do graphics on the fly, like really cool graphics, like just awesome things that just happen as we're talking.
Also, we need a band, so if you're Paul Schaefer or The Roots, we could use you guys here. There's about 4 square feet over to the left
There's
here.
some dude with his guitar that can just like rock out.
We need like a really good looking woman to just introduce us. Dance around in the background. There's a bunch of things we could do.
There's a lot of things we could do. And you know what? If you guys have comments about what you'd like us to do, especially for future topics of episodes and whatnot, we would love to hear that, because right now we're flying by the seat of our pants with these episodes, and we got a good idea of what we're going to do next most of the time. But if you guys have some ideas for things you'd like to see us talk about, we would love to hear your input on that. We got some comments. We don't need to end right now, do we? Let's take some questions.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for coming out. We'll just pretend that this live show is over for the future recording, and now we're just gonna hang around and answer questions.
Yeah. What do we got? So, should the approach be indirect or direct after getting? What's he talking about? Is this? Should the approach
be indirect or direct after getting involved? This is Mike, the guy who's in high school.
Mike Buster.
Don't do direct game in your high school.
No.
You should. You don't have to do indirect or direct, because you're in a high school. You sit next to people, so just be like, hey.
Unless it's a teacher.
You have the answer to the question. Unless it's a teacher, in which case you should just go super direct.
Yeah, do it. That's good fodder.
See, I have a different story than you, because I was terrible in high school.
Okay. I don't want to make it seem like I was good, because I wasn't. I was popular, but I didn't get anything from that.
I was neither popular.
The whole point of my story kind of falls apart because I said, but I had options. I just didn't take them. Is the moral? Anyway, go ahead.
I've not really too much to say, except that I didn't do all the things that you did, and so I didn't make a lot of friends or be on student council or anything like that.
Okay.
And yep, that was it.
So I had options and didn't take them, and Chris just didn't have options.
Everything started going well for me after I turned 19. It was only after high school that I had any success in life whatsoever.
I think, you know what, it's tough, because I think that when you're a teenager, you have a hard time understanding who you are.
So Chuck...
The only reason that I think I maybe did a bit better in high school than most was because I at least had the identity of being the class clown, which was at least something, that I could hold on to as my identity. But I think most guys, when they're in high school and they're a teenager, they don't even know who they are. They have nothing about their identity. If you're in sports, you can use that. If you're the guy that is in drama, you can use that. And so that's why I recommend it, because it gives you an identity. It gives you something to portray, and that's the point. Anyway,
we still haven't broken up. We still haven't dumped.
Oh, we haven't dumped anyone. Does anyone?
Seriously. Does anybody have a girlfriend that they want to get rid of?
I know at least most of you are in relationships you don't want to be.
Everybody on our live stream has just got too many happy relationships.
Yeah.
That's what's going on here. We need to fix that.
What are they saying? What other sources would you recommend besides Love Systems to learn game? I love that he's got like formatting on that too. Love Systems is highlighted. None. Zero. Love Systems is the only solution. It's the final solution, as we say here in the office. So Love Systems. That's
Love Systems plus taking action. That's it. Just
take action.
But he doesn't want to break up. Nah. Somebody's got a girlfriend, but he doesn't want to break up.
Why are you watching the show?
Yeah, seriously.
What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing when you have to watch a show on breakups? What if your girlfriend sees your YouTube history? How are you gonna explain that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just interested in the social psychology behind breakups. Bullshit.
You're done. You might as well get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Send us her phone number.
Anticipate.
And we will call her up and break up with her for you.
Chris is a master of impressions. And after listening to you on the phone for at least 10 seconds, he can mimic your voice to a T. Believe me. Do your Michael Caine. Do your Michael Caine. It's brilliant. You can listen to this. Michael Caine breaking up with his girlfriend. Go. His wife of 40 years.
Yeah.
Michael Caine. Go.
I'm trying to... Michael Caine being who? I can't do Michael Caine.
I'm Michael Caine. Did you know that? Did you know that? I'm Michael
There
Caine.
you go. You could do...
Listen, Vanessa.
Okay.
Vanessa.
All right, let's do Michael Caine breaking up with Michael Caine.
Michael.
So I'm Michael Caine.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this Michael Caine?
Yes. Who is this?
I'm Michael Caine. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
This is Michael Caine.
Why are you calling me Michael?
You gotta say my cocaine.
Michael?
My cocaine.
My cocaine.
Equals Michael
Okay.
Caine with a Michael Caine accent.
Why would my cocaine be calling me?
Michael Caine. This is Michael Caine. Did you?
We gotta
know
get to the
that?
breakup part, man.
That's what he does, though. He always says, "Did you know that?
Did you know that?
Did you know that?"
I'm breaking up with you. Did you know
I'm
that?
breaking.
We're fucking the scene up, Derek.
It's not working out. I can't say any other sentences besides those few sentences in a Michael Caine accent. This isn't gonna work.
All right.
Besides, I'm not the one that can do Michael Caine. Chris is. I can only do. I was gonna say. Oh wait, what's up? We have a technical difficulty. Oh, we have a call-in.
We have a
call
call-in.
in.
Finally.
All right. Our producer has just appeared and. Hey!
All right, here we go. Let's just. I don't think this is.
Is it? Can we hear him?
Let's just see. I don't know if the audio is gonna work. Hey, what's up, man? Can you speak up?
Can he? Oh, there's probably a delay still.
I can. All right. Let's bring him up. Yo, what's up, man? How's it going?
He looks distraught.
I can hear you, man. Oh, this is live, everybody. How's it going? Are you there? Hey, you're on, man. You.
Hey,
Hey, there we go. You're paying attention now.
hey.
You're live.
Derek,
Welcome to LS Live. My headset is broken. Whatever. All right. How's it going, man?
I'm fine, and you?
Good, man. Good.
Where
What's up?
are you calling from?
It's a pleasure for me to talk with you because I'm from Dominican Republic, and
He's from Dominican Republic. You're saying?
The Caribbean.
yeah, have you ever listened
I'm jealous
about?
of your weather. I don't know. It's good. It could be a hurricane right now. I have no idea, but I'm jealous because it's hot there.
Well,
Yes, I was watching TV, and I received a message in my table about the breakup.
yeah.
But I think it's important how learn how learn about breakup because have breakup. Do you understand?
No.
No.
I have no idea what that meant.
Sorry, man.
Okay. I think it's very important
Yes.
Yeah.
how add before,
How after
How?
before?
how add before have and breakup.
Oh, how do you act
How do you
before
act?
you have a breakup?
Yeah.
Yes.
So is this when you want to break up or when you don't want to break up?
No. It's important when you learn how add up before breakup.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
To prevent a breakup.
Love the
Yes.
answer. Yes.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, Chris.
Yes. So how should you act before a breakup?
Right. So that's what I think I get what you're trying to say. And here's the thing. A lot of guys they dwell on it. They think, oh, I want to break up with this girl, but I don't know how to initiate it. I don't know how to go about it. Maybe I'll just exist in this relationship which I don't like until it naturally maybe goes away, and then it never does, or you're in it for a lot longer than you anticipate. So I think that if this is the question you're asking, which I hope it is, When you get to the point where it's like there's something not working here,
Yeah.
either the vibe she's giving me or maybe the way that I'm seeing the relationship just isn't, we're not seeing this in the same page, you need to act immediately. It's not worth being in a relationship that at least both people in it don't want to be in it. So I think that you need to say something and you need to have a conversation, like as soon as it happens, because sometimes, I mean, everyone has doubts and everyone has situations and times in a relationship where it's not working out 100%. And maybe it is just a bump along the road, or maybe it's a deal killer. But you need to address that right away, because if you don't, then you put it away and you bottle it up. And then the next thing that happens comes up and it resurfaces that emotion that you hid away. And before you know it, you have one small little thing that happens in the relationship that this entire waterfall of problems comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you only dealt with them along the way, they were only small little issues. But because you didn't, now it's a huge thing, and that could very well end a relationship.
Yeah, that's very true. I heard someone say, and I think it's really good advice in a relationship, that like arguing and dealing with problems in a relationship is like doing the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do a little bit every day or every week dealing with problems, or else they pile up.
Yeah.
And then it's a big problem. But you shouldn't ever be in a situation where you think that where you're afraid to deal with these issues, where you're afraid to argue. I mean, you shouldn't fight, but to argue or have any kind of conflict or talk about the stuff that gets on your nerves sometimes when you're in a relationship.
Yeah. So
Did that answer your question?
Is that the answer?
Yes.
Oh,
all right. Hey, perfect.
What was your name?
My name is Santiago.
Santiago. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks, man.
Dominican Republic. Like, can we come stay at your house? Can we come visit you and just stay at your house for a long time and just hang out on the beach? Do you live by the beach?
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I'm not live from the beach.
Okay. You got a bunk bed I can see. Can I stay on the top? Is that cool?
Give me
Yeah?
All right, man. Santiago, thank you so
okay,
much.
repeat the question, please.
I said, can I stay on your top bunk? Is that cool?
Oh, wait. Sorry, don't talk it.
Oh, right.
If you gonna stay here.
I want to stay on your top bunk in Dominican Republic because I love the beaches there.
Yes. Have you been there?
No, never. But I just know I'd love them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Santiago, thank you so much for calling in, man. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.
Okay.
Boom. There we go. That was great. That's the first time we've actually had the...
I think he's still there.
Yeah, Santiago's still there, but he's no longer on the live stream. So he can still watch us.
He's listening to us.
Well, yeah.
All right, he can listen to us.
I don't think he's no longer coming up.
But now I can see, I can hear his comments and things. It's distracting. He can hear me.
We can close this.
Yeah. All right. Hang up on him. All right. Sorry, Santiago. You're distracting.
Now he's weirding us out.
Yeah. Come out.
All right. Here, I can. There we go.
No, he's a great guy, Santiago.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy.
What a great
guy.
guy.
Good question.
That's a great question.
Great question.
Because you don't want to be in a relationship that you don't want to be in.
And then you know what's awesome?
What?
Miracle of the internet. We can answer questions from like anywhere in the world, and people are taking advantage of it. Santiago had the balls to call us.
You know why you can do that?
What?
Freedom.
Freedom. That's right. Freedom isn't free, everybody.
America. Just kidding, Canada.
All right.
We're Canadian here at Love Systems. Those of you tuning in, 100% Canadian production. Both Chris and I are Canadian. Takes place in Canada. And we have Canadian accents. We probably don't. We've been in the States so much that...
I'm Michael Kine.
Oh, Michael Kine.
Michael Kine.
Michael Kine. Actually, do you know what? I wonder if Americans watching would notice that we have an accent. Because I don't think we do anymore. We've been working in the States so much and hanging out with Americans. Most of Love Systems is American. And they all have different accents. I know that those of you guys that have watched the previous episodes would recognize Rob Calabrese by his accent alone.
That guy has an accent.
Yeah, he's got a very thick Jersey, New York kind of Jersey accent. What the fuck's up, you guys?
I'm here for my Jonas Brothers tickets.
Jonas Brothers tickets. Love that guy. But I don't think we have a Canadian accent anymore. I have an East Coast accent, at least I did. And if you ever heard one of those, we say our R's weird. So let's say like,
can you do...
get in the car.
Don't you do...
What?
The guy.
Trailer Park Boys?
No.
No.
The impersonation of the guy from.
Come on!
From Pulp Fiction.
John Travolta?
No, the actor who had the watch up his butt.
Christopher Walken!
Christopher Walken.
No, I don't do him.
All right.
Yeah. Christopher Walken.
Sorry to waste all your time, everybody.
A little story. No, I can't do.
Oh, here's a good question.
What is it?
Ken wants to know what if I think my girlfriend is a Russian spy who is trying to poison me with strychnine? Well, okay. There's two issues here, Ken. If you think your girlfriend is a Russian spy who's trying to poison you with strychnine.
First of all, strychnine tastes like diesel. You ever taste diesel? When you're siphoning gas and stuff, it tastes kind of sweet. Strychnine tastes like diesel, so that's how you can tell if it's strychnine. Anyway, that's just a tip. Go ahead.
But there's two problems here. One, your girlfriend is a Russian spy. Two, she's trying to poison you with strychnine. Because she could be not a Russian spy, but still trying to poison you with strychnine.
Yeah.
Or she could be a Russian spy who is trying to poison you with something else.
Where do you get strychnine? Where do you get that? That's the stuff in rat traps, right?
I guess you get it from rat traps. Problem solved.
This episode is sponsored by Sullivan's Rat Traps, by the way. Completely non-connected to this. Anyway, go ahead.
If you get those rats,
Get
them
those
good.
rats.
It's a calm, painless death.
Sullivan's Strychnine Rat Traps. Brought to you by Love Systems. That's it. I think there's no more answer to that question.
So first of all, you've got to figure out whether she's a spy. So you've got to check her listening devices. You've got to, watch whether she's dropping things in,
Yeah, like
cold
does she
drops.
like sometimes like
drop boxes.
if you're like doing something with her and like maybe like a seagull swoops down too low or something, and she does this weird thing where she does like a somersault and like rolls around on the ground, and you're like kind of like I don't remember ever seeing her do something like that before. That's a weird thing, like, especially for seagulls, which swoop a lot. That would be weird. I would probably think like there's probably something going on here.
So signs she's a Russian. So okay, signs she's poisoning you with strychnine. It tastes like you are
Siphoning diesel.
You're siphoning diesel. A lot, like when you're drinking your coffee in the morning.
It's like a sweet,
etc.
It's like antifreeze a little bit.
Signs you're dating a Russian spy. She squats a lot. She wears
because Russians don't have regular toilets. They have to squat like Asians do. Is that what you mean?
They just don't. I don't think they have seats.
They have muscles in their legs, I bet, that they don't. Other races don't have.
Yeah,
is Russian a race? Is that a race? It's not a race, is it? Russian isn't a race. Is it a race?
I think it is.
Is it just white? It's white. White's a race.
It's a good question.
Anyway,
we should ask.
They got muscles in their legs that other races don't have. Whites.
Let me consult my book over here.
So
the Races of Humanity.
Yeah.
Published 1895.
Who wrote that?
It was Francis Galton.
Francis Bacon. Just kidding. He wrote something else.
All right. Anyway, all right. More questions.
I thought that was a good answer.
More questions. Every Monday, Mike. Seagulls. Stop it now. Lol. That's it. That's what we got on chat for. Thanks for the comments, guys.
Chuck, come on.
Chuck, stop talking.
Get it together.
Scaring away
Where's
all the other
Pie Games? That's what I want to hear from.
Yeah.
You
got a lot of people from
the last one.
A lot of people from Reddit on the feed this time. That's why the quality has gone down.
Our quality?
That's why it's really looking poor.
Yeah.
Quality of comments.
I don't care. Is there
low quality?
Is there more questions for a minute? That's what you're looking.
We don't have any more. We don't have any more questions. I don't think, unless. Oh yeah, he's still there.
Santiago, you're still watching. Santiago,
you're still there, man.
Yes, I'm still watching.
Can you change your camera? Show me outside. You got a window in your house? Show me outside. Can you show me outside? I want to see
Take
what the
us through
weather's
your
like.
entire apartment.
It's probably nighttime. He's in the same time zone we're in, I think.
He's in the same, yeah.
Yeah, so
You want to see my home?
I don't know. I want to see
you
how
wanna
nice
see
it is
my-
outside. Can you show me that? That's probably not something you can show on video. That probably doesn't work like that.
All right.
Doesn't work like that.
It's all right, Santiago. You don't have to show us around. This isn't your show. We're putting the burden of the show onto you.
Is there any beach babes
We're
there?
being lazy.
Okay,
All right.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Some months ago,
Yeah.
I have a breakup.
Yeah.
And when I was with the girl,
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that I don't love her,
Mm-hmm.
and I only say her, "Hey, I feel it's not going, and I think we have to break up."
Okay.
She she was very tired. She was very angry,
Mm-hmm.
but we continue being friends.
Being friends,
Being
yeah.
friends, yeah.
Uh, yes, if I want to recover her, what I have to do?
Ooh.
So getting out of the friend zone. The only
Well, getting your ex back. So have you told her how you feel?
Yes, I
And what does
feel
she
in
say?
the friend zone. How can recover her?
Yeah, I would say whether it's a previous
And I
girlfriend
feel
that you've gone. Go. Sorry, I don't know if you had more to add there. This is the thing I love about Santiago. When he asks a question, you think there's more, but that's the end of the sentence. I love that about you, Santiago. It's good, but I would say, I would say, is there more though? Is there more to it? I don't want to interrupt you. Is there another part to the question, or is that it? I'm just gonna answer that.
You want the question?
Never mind. No, it's cool. I got it. All right.
I think
So
there's a delay.
the answer to the question is so yeah. If you're dating a girl, she's your girlfriend, and then she wants to be friends, and now you're in the friend zone kind of thing. It's not really the correct definition of the friend zone because you already dated her, but I still, for this purpose, you can say it is.
Yep.
The answer is the same regardless. It's that from my opinion, you have to cut her out for at least 6 months to a year. And the reason why I say that is because, well, there's a couple caveats to that. So one is that if it's like she's ending it because she's not sure what she wants and you're not sure what you want, and you guys still really love each other and maybe you're still having sex but it's not like a official relationship anymore, well then yeah, you can turn that back into a relationship. But if it's like, no, I'm not attracted to you anymore, now we're friends, I don't know what I want, but also don't even want to have the conversation about what it is that I want, I just want to be friends and not talk about it right now, then in those situations, you need to cut her out for 6 months at least. And the reason I say that is because there needs to be a significant amount of time that you can kind of reset your sort of image of who you are in her mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can come back to it and you can be a little bit more confident, a different version of yourself that knows what he wants. Because if you come at her now with this idea that, no, I know what I want, she's not going to see it because she already has this very firm idea of who you are and what you want that she doesn't like or isn't sure of. And if you try to change it, she's still going to see that it's not going to work. So you need to reset that, and that takes about 6 months to a year, unfortunately. So
Santiago, here's what I would say too, to look at it in a different way. There are 3 things you need to have a strong relationship. 3 keys to attraction. All right, and you need them to get the girl in the first place, and you need them to keep that relationship going. If you have them, you should be good. The 3 things are, what you need to give her is the feeling of being desired by a powerful man, and so you need to give her a powerful man she can trust, and so she needs to feel like you're a powerful guy. You got to have that inner power that women find attractive about a man. You also have to have she has to feel desired, and she has to feel like she can trust you. And when you break up, all of these things, when you break up, even if you just break up like, oh, we need to go for a break or something like that, we need to take time away from one another, all of these 3 different elements, you hurt them really badly in that relationship. You hurt your trust when you break up, right? Because she doesn't feel like she can trust you anymore. She doesn't feel desired when you break up because of that, because you've rejected her. And then sometimes it has a bit to do with power too. If you're breaking up with her because you don't know what you're doing in life, or you don't have plans, or you're confused about yourself. And so when you go through a breakup, all these things are down really low. And what you need to do, if you want to have a chance to get her back, because usually a breakup messes these things up really badly. If you want to get her back, you've got to figure out which of these things is in the worst shape, which of these things is preventing her from getting you back, taking you back? It might be all three of them. And try to solve each of those issues one by one. So if it's a matter of trust, you've got to be like, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. I really like you. I want you back. You've got to rebuild that trust by being somebody who's consistent and to somebody who doesn't change his mind all the time, which so the tough thing with trust too is like sometimes you can never get it back, right? Like if I have a Honda Civic and I've driven it for 10 years and it's never breaking down, and it's my trusty Honda Civic that never breaks down, it only has to break down once, and it's no longer my trusty Honda Civic that has never broken down, right? And if it breaks down like 3 times in 3 months, that trust isn't going to just come back. And so that's a big problem. That's why a lot of the time you can't get it back, even if sometimes there's a strong foundation. If you can explain, why you made the decision to break up with her, why you know it was wrong, why you can be trusted now, you're going to have a better chance, right? Desire also, woman feels really undesired, especially if she's given you a lot and you reject her. She's not going to not feel desired, so you're going to have to work with that. If there was another girl or something like that, right? That's the kind of thing like, well, why is he if he takes me back now, why is he just going to dump me down the road when another girl comes around, right? And then the power, you got to a lot, like, especially if you get dumped, if you're the one who gets dumped, it's usually about the power, right? It's usually you lost control over your own life. You're being depressed or not being a good boyfriend or something like that, and she finally got tired of you. But when you are the one who broke up with her, as I believe your story is, it's usually the trust and the desire, and it's hard to fix. But that would be how I would go about it. Is that helpful?
Huh?
Is that helpful to you, Santiago?
Repeat?
Was that helpful to you, Santiago?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
man.
He loved it.
Thanks for calling in, man. I wish you the best. I hope you get your ex back. I hope you get what you want. But you've got to give her that feeling of trust, desire, and that you're a guy that she can count on.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry.
What'd he say?
Truth, desire, and what else?
Power, desire, and trust. Trust, yeah.
Okay.
Okay? All right, man.
Okay, that's right.
Good luck.
Thanks, Santiago.
Okay.
Aww.
All right, guys. So we'll finish up the show now. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you guys liked the little addition we did here with answering you guys' questions and whatnot. We're gonna. I can still hear Santiago saying this. If you guys.
Wait. Okay. We got Santiago wants back on again. What's up, man?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Okay. I have subscribed to your channel this morning.
Okay.
Okay. I wanna know, how often do you do this?
We do this show every Monday at 8 p.m.
This is a perfect segue into what I was about to say.
Every
Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
At 8 p.m.
Yeah, I think in Dominican it'd probably be the same time. I think you guys are in the same time zone.
This is the time.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Right now it's 9:30, which I'm assuming is what it is right now where you are.
Okay, that's right.
That's right. So 8 p.m. every Monday, we're here. Tune in. And lots of, you know what, we give lots of great advice. We have a lot of fun too, as you guys can see.
I give you a like in YouTube.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Santiago, I want you, send us like a bottle of Dominican rum or something.
Yeah, you got to email us at live@lovesystems.com, Santiago.
I want some of that Dominican rum. That's what we need.
Okay,
here.
I will write you.
All right, nice. Sweet.
Okay.
All right,
guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna cut it now, and you guys will see me again next week. I'm back now, so I know I got thousands of emails saying, Derek, we miss you. Derek, where are you?
Mm-hmm.
This sucks.
Yeah.
He's boring. So I hear you. So I'll be back next week. which I'm not sure what our topic is next. Do we know what our topic is next week?
No, next week there's going to be a effortless attraction with Daniel Rossetti.
Oh, that's awesome!
It's going to be a webinar that we're going to be having at lovesystems.com. So if you come to this address, if you go to lovesystems.com go.lovesystems.com/live, it's going to be signing people up for that webinar that's going to be taking place. I think it's either at 5 p.m. or at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, but that's going to be what we're doing next Monday.
And seriously, check that, guys, I'm serious. Versetti's one of these guys, Daniel Versetti, that even amongst Love Systems instructors, of which Versetti is one, we always huddle around and stuff when he teaches a seminar, because he's one of those guys that it doesn't matter how good you are at this stuff, you always take away something from Versetti's seminars. They're amazing. So I'm going to be there for that, definitely. And I hope you guys are too, because, man, he just literally, he opens his mouth and just gold flies out and, scalds your eyeballs. And, you're just ah! And you can't see, but you appreciate it because gold is worth a lot of money.
Cool. So you know what we're going to do? I'm going to live stream. I'm going to talk to Daniel Versetti. We're going to try and live stream his webinar on this YouTube channel. So you guys are going to be able to watch it. And it should be really, really exceptional. It's going to be a really, really good show.
Yeah.
We can do that right from our studio here. So
the technology exists.
So guys, if you like this show, please like it. Please share
subscribe, comment, share.
Make a t-shirt. All that kind of stuff. Sign the petition.
Make a t-shirt.
Yeah. We had a guy last week. He tattooed LS Live Mondays at 8 p.m. on his chest.
Yeah.
That was really great. We've got Santiago. He's putting the word out in Dominican Republic.
He reserved his
we're really on the ground floor of a worldwide phenomenon. And you guys are literally the first. You're the first 8 to 12 people that are involved in this.
Literally dozens of us.
There's dozens of us.
Literally. So enjoy our future episodes. I'm excited for the ones to come. And also let us know suggestions as well. You guys can comment on these videos, I think, even after the live stream is done. And give us suggestions and write to our Love System channel, or Derek at lovesystems.com, Chris at lovesystems.com, CHRISDEREK, and let us know. We'd love to hear feedback.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.